All right, everybody, welcome to a Thursday edition of the MSP Initiative Live. Who would have thought? The week is already winding down, and here we are again. Twice a week show for sure. Going solo today, so going to kind of go radio format and see if we get a couple of people popping in and get some interesting conversation from the crowd. But I'm going to take the time to do, again, the normal housekeeping just to get it out of the way. As you know, in the beginning, we try and do that. MSPinitiative.com under sessions. This session and every other session we've ever done is available in both podcast format and video format. Choose which one is your favorite. We'll be posting our giveaways soon. Again, we're doing them quarterly this year instead of monthly, so hang tight. We'll let you know when those are ready to go. In 18 days, 4 hours, 58 minutes, and 44 seconds, if this countdown is correct, we will be holding another MSP community block party down in Orlando, this time again on iDrive at Zero Trust World. So what's Zero Trust World? Our friends at Threat Locker are hosting their second annual conference at the Rosen Plaza, which is across the street from where IT Nation has been held for the last several years. And they are still accepting people to come and register for their event. Pretty cool setup. We actually had a session with Danny Jenkins, who actually went through and talked about, hey, what's happening down at Zero Trust. So pretty cool stuff. They're giving away a lot of cool stuff. You're going to learn how easy it is to have some of your stuff hacked into. And obviously you don't want to do that maliciously for obvious reasons, but you'll at least learn what's possible and how easy it is, because it's not all just about what happens in the movies. And some good speakers, some good workshops, real hands-on stuff, and then of course our block party, which is going to be on night one of the event. So we'd love to see you there. If you don't already have travel booked, you can still get it in, and it's the week of the 20th, right? So we're in the first week of February. It's the week of the 20th, so it's like three weeks from now, kind of thing. So hopefully we'll see you down there. And then lastly, we have 8 one-week Channel Strong tours planned for 2022. And here they are. They're spread out throughout the rest of the year. Of course, the rest of the year, we're only in February. And but we'll be hopefully coming to a backyard or parking lot near you. Check it out. The first one actually is going to be next month at the end of March. We'll be coming through the great state of Texas on a bus in a parking lot. So thanks for all of those. Thanks for sticking in for all of those kind of, announcements, if you would. And here are, Keith says, I can come fashionably late with cigars. Well, Keith, today's going to be kind of a radio type format. I'm going to let you and everyone else that happens to be in the live, if you feel like jumping into the conversation, you can unmute, and welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, my friend. How are you?
Excellent. Oh, it's been cold in California. We don't even know how to deal with this 60-degree weather.
Is that what it is? Only 60?
Yeah, it's 58. Just check.
I mean, you're still wearing shorts, right?
Shorts and a sweatshirt. Yeah.
Shorts and a sweatshirt. Okay. Well, I mean, listen, 60 sounds pretty good right about now. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. No, it's funny because my son will get in my car and say, put your top up, it's freezing. And I'll go, dude, it's only 60.
Yeah, but 60 with running air, man, that's different.
Oh, we got heated seats, hot massage, it's nice.
Right. You have a very nice car. We keep on talking about it.
Yeah.
Because your employees drive Teslas. That's one level. You're at a different level, right?
My employee's getting a new Tesla. It turns out he comes up and says, I could trade in this Tesla and get the better one for the same price per month. I don't know how he worked it out. And I go, well, then do it.
Well, it's because he can sell his used Tesla higher than the market value, because the market is lacking of vehicles because of the chip shortage. And then somehow he found the deal on a new one that's just sitting somewhere, right? So
yeah, I go, whatever.
Right time, right place.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is a crazy time, right? Home
Yeah.
values, car values. I mean, just like land, real estate values, nothing on it. I mean, just it's a little bit upside down right now.
Have you looked at that? Like looked at your house and go, I wouldn't pay what they're telling me it's worth.
Oh, I mean,
It's like insane.
a lot of people are like, I was talking to a guy who moved from New York, MSP, moved from New York to Florida, bought a house in Florida, and his home value like doubled. And then they literally sold it. I said, so then didn't you have to buy something else? He's like, no, we're just renting. I was like, oh, okay. And like literally, like it wasn't that long. He said it was like within 5 years, he doubled the value of his house. I was like, sounds good.
I don't know. California rentals are, I mean, it's like small apartments downtown. I go, that's more than my house payment. You know,
Yeah,
for
I mean, listen, the rental thing's definitely overbloated, and there's no question that, especially like, you're in SoCal, right? But Darren, who's on
yeah.
the line down in San Diego, yeah, if you're trying to stay on one of the Mission Beach, anything like that, it's like $3,000 a month, and like that's probably low.
No, not downtown rents are, rents are insane. I mean, it's, you have to be, it's crazy. The whole market has been skewed out of proportion by the home prices, and it's
Right. So the thing is that there's people who, and again, I'm giving a hypothetical here, people. So let's say you live in California and the value of your place went up by 3x. So you take your payout, you sell it, and then you move to Texas or
With
Florida
America,
or Arkansas.
no, you move to
Phoenix.
Texas and you support America's team.
Well, I mean, by watching the television, anytime an NFL game's on, you support America's team, whether you like to think of it or not, because they all get a cut of the TV revenue. But I mean, but like my point is, like, you can relocate, take your
Yeah.
extra earnings, and go somewhere else. I mean, this is kind of part of the problem with the remote working thing, right? We know a lot of major companies still have not gone back to the office. Like, so these people got up and moved. They're still getting paid what they were paid in the metro they were living in at, before COVID. And now their cost of living is less because they've relocated. Well, okay, great. But like, there's going to be a course correction at some point, I think.
Yeah, I would think so. By the way, to Darren, my daughter's at SDSU, so I know the rents. Insane.
yeah. No, I have friends that they can't afford to rent, they can't afford to buy. So it's like, okay,
So they hang out. They hang out on the bench on the street. What are they doing?
well,
Are
that's
they on your couch? What's the deal?
no, nobody's on my couch.
Okay.
No,
All right.
no.
Although-
Only you, George. George, only when you come can you be on my couch. That's
Hey, I don't be surprised one day if I show up knocking on your door.
I got the Murphy bed for that. Okay, you don't
Okay.
have to be on the couch.
All right. I know you have all the accoutrements.
Ken can be on the couch.
Yeah. Ken can get the bedroom. I'll take the. Hey, Pete's on here. He was he says need to get a mic and audio. No problem. Come back whenever you're ready. Pete stopped by and hung out at your place, right? Darren?
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm on the treadmill. I don't want it to make too much noise.
No,
yeah,
no,
he came by. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the place is great.
Yeah.
Do us a
Darren's-
favor. Do an extra mile, one for George, one for me, and we'll call it. We got our exercise in for the day.
I'm at 8.4 so far today.
8.4 miles.
Yep.
Gee, how long you been at it, man?
I don't know, 4:30 Pacific time.
Okay, so you're going slow.
Yeah, going slow. It's a walking. Come on. Otherwise, I'm not that coordinated.
Welcome, Pete. So, maybe he's checking in. So anyway, it'll be real interesting to see how the whole remote thing, like, there's towns out there that'll pay you to move, right, to their cities or to their town, like from out of state, right, because they know you're going to pay taxes, but with the idea of remote working in mind. Crazy.
Yeah, my brother's company, Prism Aerospace, the younger one I told you I raised back when my dad was away from the family. they're trying to get them in Texas, and then what they offer them is unfriggin' believable. You know,
Wow.
rent for years, relocation for your employees, all kinds of stuff.
Well,
And
that only lasts for so long until all the incentives go away, and then you're there. It's kind of, it's kind of like when they build a new high rise in a downtown area, and they're like, "Oh, come sign up, and you get 10 years tax deferred." And then at the end of that 10 years, you're out of there.
As long as people from California don't move to another state and make that state California, he should be okay. But that's the fear. That's the fear people are having.
Yeah, this is the problem. This is definitely the problem. California definitely has a lot of issues, like everywhere else in the country. Maybe there's a few unique to their own, but hey, at least the Super Bowl is going to be there, Keith. And they were worried that the Super Bowl would have to be moved to Jerry World because they thought the LA County was going to reimpose restrictions.
Well, COVID does not spread if you take your mask off and hold it in your hand and don't breathe. I don't know if you watched Mayor Garcetti explaining why he was filmed quite a few times without his mask on.
Ah, I see. No, I did not watch that. I did not. But I did see all of the press releases from the NFL saying that the backup site this year was Jerry World.
Yeah.
But did you also hear that the other thing that came out about Jerry World?
No.
Let me read it to you because it's right up your alley, Keith. It says, statement from the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. The NFL, the players, and the teams are deeply worried of the events that transpired after last week after San Francisco Los Angeles game. For the second year, there will be a team with home field advantage at the Super Bowl. As an organization, we have tried very much to avoid this situation, let alone allow it to happen 2 years in a row. Therefore, to guarantee that it will never happen again, we will be moving the Super Bowl every year thereafter to AT&T Stadium in Dallas.
Oh, that's brutal. I'm really disappointed about it. I go like all this hope to get decent coaching changes, and we did nothing.
Yeah, well, Sade pops and she said, LA County already has enough traffic alone as it is. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I could probably walk faster than the highway sometimes over there. But Pete has apparently Keith has the back roads, right? Because he somehow was rolling in with a cigar last second, but he made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, my brother's company did they do metal bending. They do mostly aerospace, but they did the structural for the Vegas Stadium and SoFi.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Pete said he's popping out and coming back in once he gets his headset fixed. Although I'm sure he'll tell a story because apparently he got stopped by TSA, and he's like, "So this is how it feels." I'm like, "Yup, that's right." Getting stopped by TSA, man, never a good situation. Actually, I saw a funny skit. You know, people bring food in from the outside the airport all the time, right? Snacks and drinks, and you got to get it through security. What about a guy who brought a stack of pancakes in like a regular plastic shopping bag?
Oh,
I was like, something not right about that. Well, no.
Yeah.
I think that's not right. Speaking about the Super Bowl, because it's right around the corner, and everybody goes to the electronics store to borrow a TV. Here you go, massive Super Bowl TV sale. Knocks out $799 at Best Buy.
I just posted something like that on my feed because I'm looking at upgrading the TV I have sitting outside in the ghetto. Where I sit outside, where I smoke cigars and sit by the pond.
Sure.
Yeah, so I've never shared with you the story why they call it the ghetto, have I?
No, please. What's the story?
Okay, so I was coaching Special Olympics and sponsoring a work program for special needs individuals, and they were working. I got them all employment at the Park District doing landscaping, so they're kind of grungy. Anyway, they saw I was sitting outside smoking a cigar and having a health drink, scotch. aged, of course. And so they decide, let's go punk coach. So they come over the back fence where the boat's parked, sneak into the backyard to punk coach, which is fine. The neighbor sees it and calls the police, thinking people are breaking into my house.
Oh no.
And at that time, the police chief, the former police chief, lived around the corner. He was getting harassed. So they rolled a helicopter, canine, the whole 9 yards. And so I'm sitting there back, I catch him, then I'm smoke. And all of a sudden a cop comes to my gate and says, walk towards me with your ID. And I, not being a criminal, because I'm not from Philly, I don't know. I turn away to walk in the house to go get my wallet, because you don't. So it's like, and he goes, do not turn your back on me. And all of a sudden I look, there's dogs. Long story short, the kid posts, I guess you can't go to coach's house because the police come, he must live in the ghetto. So,
oh God.
So for 15 years, through DDS, and they would post, we're going to coaches, we're going to the ghetto. And so they sent a flyer, because I don't know, annually I host parties for special needs kids. And one of them went to the state for approval. It says Halloween party in the ghetto at coach's house. And the state goes, you can't, first of all, no one knows who coach is statewide. You can't just use like coach. You have to use his name and address. And you're going like, it's not politically correct to call someone's house the ghetto.
Yeah.
But that's the reason.
Okay. That's good to know. I didn't realize that your house backed up to water.
No, I just have a pond and a pool.
Oh, okay. You said boats. I was like,
no, I park my boat here when it's not in the water.
Oh, okay. Got
it's
it.
my RV parking on the side.
Okay. All right. Let's check this out. If anybody's looking for a 15-inch Surface Laptop 4, now's the time. What do you think about the Surface devices there? I think it's not bad. I'm a Surface fan.
I tried the first ones, and I should go back. It just kind of, they were kind of crappy, the first version. And I have people that live by Apple versus Windows. My hobby is photography and video stuff, so I just use a Mac, an iPhone, and an iPad because you can. But a couple of my techs have bought the later Surfaces after version 3 and say they're really good now.
No, they've been good.
And they come, they're fine. I mean, they work really well.
Yeah, no, I'm a Surface fan. Everybody here gets Surfaces, not Apples. Sorry, Windows guy. But I do, iPhone, no problem. Totally fine with the iPhone. Although I just read on my screen on my feed. Here we go. Perfect timing. Here it is. iPhone flaw exploited by second Israeli spy firm. It's 5 minutes ago. It's supposed to.
Yeah.
So these guys, why is it every time in remember back in the San Bernardino terrorist guy, and he had an iPhone 5C, I think it was, and they couldn't get into it. And they asked Apple, Apple's like, no, we're not doing this, privacy, yada, yada, yada. And then some firm in Israel got through it.
Do you know, I was chairman of the board during the terrorist attack.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm intimately involved with what occurred.
Wow. But I just find it very intriguing that they got some really smart people in Israel, clearly, because they keep on finding a way to get into these phones.
Yeah, and it was very disturbing because there was inference that the group that this individual is involved with, and I can tell you now because it's been released. The FBI was on site within 20 minutes.
That's quick.
The closest FBI site to San Bernardino is LA.
Okay.
So go figure.
That I was gonna say. Wow.
So it turns out in the long run, this guy was on the radar the whole time. And they were probably trailing him. I go, well, then how does he get in to do the shooting? Which they've never answered. But they also found documentation that him and some cohorts were planning a terrorist attack at a local community college and over the freeway. So the fact that Apple wouldn't help was disturbing. Because you don't know how many other people were involved and how many got away. And, there's a lot to that incident that would make you feel not unsecure.
Listen, I'm sure there's a lot of situations like that. How about this? Since
Yeah.
we're still in component shortage world, Windows PCs prioritize over Chromebooks in component storage. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was like,
Wow.
Chromebooks are pretty popular, but Windows PCs are getting priority. I wonder why.
I think because, people don't want to change their interface. They're used to what they're used to.
Yeah.
And now with the Surface, you can buy a lightweight portable device.
Yeah.
How many of your people really need anything more than a Surface?
I mean, once you get like if you got an i5 or an i7 with a docking station, it probably would do the job.
Yeah, what do you do all day? You do email, you do some web apps. It's not like you're doing video or graphics or system development. You're going like, boom. It all of a sudden becomes, and I always tell people, we all have clients that want to have a desktop and a notebook and a computer at home. I go, you're a special kind of stupid. Just carry one. It's like so easy these days.
It is interesting, right? Because as people are rolling back in the office, like, you assume that at some point people are going to be working hybrid, or you assume that coming in. It really doesn't make sense to have that many more, like, just from a cost standpoint, right? Like, one device to rule them all, right?
Well, not only a cost that you look to, by the way, I'm hogging if the other guys want to jump in, so Keith, shut up. I think, but besides the cost and the support, you're going just to ease of use. You have stuff on your desktop, you have all your documents. You're not like, where did I leave that doc I'm working on? It's just a simpler workflow. And I think when you forward that, you go, that works. You just make it simple.
It also costs less to manage less devices too, right? There's a math there.
Yeah.
So just saying, right? I think moving forward, the desktop's going to be, I'm sure that's been the case for some time. More laptops are being shipped than desktops, but I can see the desktops role becoming really minor at some point.
Right. And if you look at them, you go, how much you pay for a Surface? If I don't, $1,000? I don't know. I haven't priced them.
But like on the low end, you can get $599, like the entry level ones, and then you can go up to $3,000 if you want to get crazy, right?
You're going on the low end. You can almost justify making those disposable devices. Have an extra one on the shelf, circling them out every couple of years, and going like, it just kind of works.
You're not wrong. I mean, at that price, yeah. Just wait for the disc. You wait for the super sale, and you throw them on the shelf as your backup device, right?
Yeah, when we did the Boeing shop floor, I think I told you, they were paying for guys, and they were shared computers, and they're on a final assembly. And I finally said, hey, it's cheaper to have like 5 upstairs. Someone would call and say, my computer's not working. We wouldn't even try and fix it.
You replace it.
We just swap it out, bring the other one upstairs and re-image it and go, boom. You go, you're talking about a stupid, $1,500 computer versus labor costs. Forget it. It's not worth it.
Agreed. I mean, the problem is that you can't really have those spare computers at people's houses, right? Like if you had the office and you have them, I can see that as a viable strategy that people have been doing for a long time, but like you're not sending people home with 2 computers, right?
Not everyone, but at the low end Surface Pro, I could see that being a backup for a high profile guy.
Okay.
I could see you're going like, not enough. I don't think enough people do the math and say, what does it cost to have this guy not working?
Yeah. I mean, payroll is definitely one of the highest expenses to any business, right?
Right. And so for some of our, and bigger, and I'm not talking about huge, everyone always, 25, 20 person offices, we have spares on site, especially in the mobile workplace.
Yeah.
Here's a spare sitting on a shelf. The guy's computer is just have him come pick one up, go back to his remote working. Boom.
Or pay overnight shipping, right?
Yeah.
Would you pay $500 per month for premium Starlink internet?
I
500.
guess, I guess if I lived out, in Missoula, Montana on a ranch, yeah.
I wonder. So standard Starlink is not $99 per month. So this is $500 per month. So it's 5x. Double the antenna capability. Okay. Faster internet speeds, higher throughput. Okay. What's the speed?
500 usually. 5 and
Okay, here
20.
you go. Here you
Yeah.
go. 150 megabits per second to 500 megabits per second with a latency between 20 to 40 milliseconds. It's not bad.
Yeah, but you got to get it first.
Yeah, like they did. I kind of skipped over the beginning part of the article. Welcome to the call, Pete. $2,500 for the actual equipment. So, I mean, I guess if
I don't know. I mean, I put my $495 deposit, and they told me that it's going to be another $495 when it comes in my area, plus the $19.95 per month.
Okay, so it's $1,000 already.
But that's saying that it's even going to get there because it was due in August, and here we are, February.
Oh, check this out. Additionally, SpaceX said premium satellite antenna is designed for improved performance in extreme weather conditions. Yes. Although the website offered no further details, the standard Starlink product features a snow melt functionality. I didn't know that.
God, I'd buy it just for that because I like toys. Just
That's
go
pretty
outside.
cool.
Yeah, just go and watch the snow melt.
That's pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah.
Keith, you got to melt a lot of snow where you are.
That's right.
Yeah, right. You guy sitting out and he's complaining about 50 and 60 degree weather in his shorts and a sweatshirt. Come on, man.
While he's smoking a cigar.
Yeah, well, I expect that all the time. But like me and Pete joke all the time because Pete's originally from Jersey. He's down there in South Carolina now. I'm still up here in suburban Philadelphia. And we joke about the temperature. I was like, hey, when I come back into town and it's like 30, 35 degrees, I rip out the shorts.
I live in shorts.
Yeah.
Hey, but by the way, you think about it, cigars made from tobacco, a leafy green vegetable. You bundle together, you're having a salad. That's like healthy eating.
Dude, I'm with you.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I made that connection.
And I gotta say, Keith, if you were here with me out in Phoenix right now, I'd tell you, let's sit outside and enjoy one.
Oh yeah, what's the temperature in Phoenix, pal?
It's about 50 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a winter storm. You don't understand what we're putting up in the West Coast here, George.
Well, even down in Myrtle Beach last week, we had about 3-hour flurry. It was the blizzard.
Yeah.
Well, it's a blizzard because nobody knows how to drive in that down there.
California
but
doesn't
they're all
want to
from
drive
the
in the. Come to California if it's drizzling. And you watch our news, they announce it as, storm watch. The over drama of weather changes in Southern California is ridiculous.
Yeah. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. Well, this is interesting. I think it's about a day old. QNAP, get NAS devices off the internet now.
Yeah.
Active ransomware and brute force being launched. Okay. It's interesting that the manufacturer themselves say that. Probably not a great idea to put a NAS device directly on the public internet like anything else.
Yeah, but if you think about it, at looking at if a network's designed correctly, it's probably just one hop away from the public.
It's true.
I mean, when we go and do the forensic audits, the amount of people that actually segment a network correctly is few.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, Keith. What is a properly segmented network in your position?
Well, I think, first of all, I think that you have to go down to physical segmentation.
So no VLANs.
No VLANs and physical, both, for when you have to go from one to another. I think you have to monitor those jump points and be firewalled on both sides, which a lot of people don't do inside. And I think you have to go, you have to use the same theories that you use with admin codes, that people can't even get to what they don't need to. Right? So if you're sitting on the network and you're just the receptionist, not to demean, you don't need to be in the executive folder or payroll. And you don't even need to see it. You don't even need to know it's there.
I get what you're saying. My point to you is like, if it's a small business, network's probably flat, right? I mean,
yeah, and there's no need to do that with the switches and firewalls that are available today, even at the low end price. We're not talking about real sophisticated, complicated, by expensive equipment. You can do that in low end equipment, and really think about your entry points, especially now when you're going like, we went remote and maybe forever. Consider that.
I mean, if you really look at all these big guys though, like OneDrive, what is OneDrive really? It's just shared storage, right? Out in the cloud, right? It's a NAS, but even Western Digital has all those personal lines and small business lines and NASs.
my
And they
cloud.
they just did a major upgrade to their software for just that reason.
Hmm.
And all of their older systems, they're phasing them out if they're a certain version of hardware and below, because it can't accept this upgrade. So they basically say, if you want to continue to connect remotely, you have to have this version of software. And if you don't, then you're not going to be able to connect.
Yeah, I had a customer, and by the way, customers are entitled to not know what they're doing technology-wise because they do something else better than we do. So I don't want to seem like I'm demeaning customers. But I asked a customer, as we were, said, he wanted to start getting conformity for being a subcontractor. And he said, we don't have a NAS or storage device. We have a Synology. And so I think when we start using terms, people don't even, and the same thing with like your point with OneDrive. Do you have a shared storage device? No, we have OneDrive. I don't think they, the lingo translates all the time is my point. So I think we have to be very specific. Do you have an area where you share files? You start using our lingo and they're going like, no, I don't have one of those. And so
Yeah.
I think it's where we just have to dig deeper.
Yep. But I mean, I think good move on Western Digital side from that hardware platform. Hey, we got a bunch of legacy stuff we don't want to support anymore. So let's get some security and use that as a way to get people to upgrade to the latest drives. It's a good sales strategy.
Sure. Yeah, to sell more boxes, right?
Right?
Well, not only
well,
that,
they'll
it
give
gives us a warning. As we're managing inventory, which is important for security, we have to prepare people to a cycling. And I think that's one of the things that MSPs have not historically done well. Because remember, the firewall you're saying needs to be upgraded is probably the firewall you sold them.
Yeah, no, I get it.
The AV that you're having to upgrade is the AV you put them on a few years ago. So I think we have to learn to, whether we sell it as a service, we have to get them in the idea that it's amortizing.
Yeah. So this is getting a little cranky for me. So Verizon, not a fan of Verizon Wireless. I had a couple run-ins with Verizon Wireless in my day. Moved to 36-month payment contract. So like, not that you're locked into your wireless services for 36 months, that if you do the device swap, right, where you like trade your phone in, you get a credit, and then like they start refunding you that credit in little pieces over. Now it's not 2 years or a little over 2 years, it's 3 years.
That sounds like a bean counter got behind it and said, we're losing too many customers and there's some buyouts, so we got to make it more affordable. So let's just spread out the terms.
So they're like, oh, but the monthly fee will be less because it'll be over 3 years. I don't know about you. I don't know if the phone's going to last 3 years.
True. But they're looking at it more from that bean counter perspective, right? It's like, oh, these young kids, they're coming in and they're upgrading their phones once a year, or they get that once a year plan. And that you can upgrade your plan.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bet you see that, you're gonna see that go away soon too.
You think so?
Well, it's
I
still
do.
on Apple. I forgot what they call it, but if you go directly to Apple, and I don't know about other phones because I'm just not big into that. There's a plan you can buy, you pay, and you
Every
just
year.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, and I'm not a financial wizard like you, George. I'm just a tech guy. But our accounting guy basically told us, buy your phones outright. Overall, it's better to just write the check and buy the phones.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we always do.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I'm like everybody else. I don't want to get into a monthly agreement, but there's some you have to, and there's some you can still just buy it outright. But I like it that I can buy my own phone and take it to any place I want if I decide that I want to change providers or something like that. But but it'll be interesting to see how many people try and break out of a 3-year at some point. It's going to be like the old copier thing, right? You get a copier and you're locked in for like 15 years and they know they got you because there's no out.
Amazing.
I've always said, if they ask you to pick the copier, they're trying to fire you because no one gets that right. I've always shied away from that. I go, I've never found a copier that I would want to recommend. Sorry for any copier guys out there.
Does anybody even buy copiers anymore? Or they buy a multifunction, right?
Yeah.
They're still the copier companies are still selling copy machines left and right, man. And they're not selling them, they're leasing them. That's how they get their
Yeah.
you know the drill, right? I mean,
Yeah. Well, it's that whole managed print idea, right? But now let's take it into the copier side.
but it's been around it's not a new story. It's definitely still around. I mean, as a guy that has to ask the question, hey, you still have a fax line because you have a copier machine? I mean, the answer is a lot of the time, yes. The fax, the technology that will never die.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we talk about how fast technology goes. Yeah, it's still sticking around.
There's no doubt. But they mastered that whole scenario and contracts and all that. They are the masters of what that agreement looks like.
As I was rolling around all my feeds, this is one of your guys, Pete. Alvaca Networks.
I can't say enough about them. They are the great. I love Oli, Unar, Kevin. Good friends with all of them.
Annual Peer of the Year award.
Yeah,
I would say it can't go to a more deserving guy.
Yeah, I agree. Oli and I go back long time. I mean, we both started our MSP careers about the same time, so we're going back into the late 90s, maybe.
So I moved.
We've been good friends since. So,
do you know Kevin very well?
I do.
Okay, so I met Kevin at a channel event in New Orleans years ago, and it turned out
an exchange event.
Exchange event, exactly. And I actually walked out of the room and found Nancy, and I said, I'm sorry, I need to pay you for my trip here because you shouldn't have invited me. She said, why? And I said, I'm sitting in this room, the boardroom, and I said, all these guys are huge MSPs. And at that time we were only like 3.5 million. And I said, I'm under 5 million. She said, Keith, let me tell you a story. And Kevin was there with me. She goes, you're probably the only guy in that room above 1 million. I don't know what the hell they told you. And so anyway, the joke between Kevin and I, our offices are within 5 miles of each other at most, was for like the first 6 years we knew each other. The only time I saw him or Unar was out of state at conventions and meetings. I go, we never got together in state, but Kevin became very good friends with our family when my daughter was working in Hollywood. He was helping her meet people to look at screenplays for his books. I told you last time I was in San Antonio, Unar came up and said, it's your turn to buy dinner and drinks. Don't ever fall for that because it'll make a dent in your American Express card.
That's okay. You got plenty of room on there.
No, he's a great guy. And have you gone to their race and draw, whatever they call it? I've gone a couple times and taken pictures with them.
No, I haven't. But we'll definitely do that. We'll definitely be
But
back
only-
out there again on Channel Strong for sure.
Yeah.
Ollie's been trying to get me to drive across country with my car to come out and do it with him. And
You're,
you know,
you're gonna drop $4,000 in fuel in that thing. Come on.
you know, well, we do have Channel Strong coming up next year, so
That's next year, this
But-
year.
yeah, that's true. But it feels like a year away. But we do have Ollie does have a race out in Ohio coming up, and I may go out and compete that weekend, and he may crew for me, and I may crew for him. So
Oh, you're a driver. You're a driver as well.
yeah,
Oh, I go where he's
Nowhere-
up in.
nowhere at the level that Ollie is.
It's gonna be the Fast and the Furious in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fell for at California Raceway when they were doing their company event, you know, their speed and whatever they call it. And Kevin and I were taking pictures because we're amateur photographers. Unar said, "Can I look at your car?" And I said, "Sure." And all of a sudden I looked and he's doing laps on the racetrack in my car. And he
Nice.
goes, "Oh, your car will break 120 easy." So I said, "Thanks."
Yeah,
Well-
I'm sure you love that.
Ollie and I have never, ever, after all these years, been on track together.
Oh, man.
And it's something that we were like, all right, we might get some practice laps against each other and maybe like see what we can do or have a little fun, you know? Because it really is in the leagues that we do, it's very much gentlemen. You know, even though you can pass someone, if you don't have a clean pass, you shouldn't take it. The idea is everybody goes home safe and everybody go home without dents. Although last couple of years, Ollie's been tearing up his cars.
So I
Yeah.
threw up on the screen a minute ago. Log me in decides, nope, changing our name. Now we're just called Go To.
What a surprise.
Surprise. Okay.
Isn't
So
that what
no
they
more-
used to be though? After Citrix had them out on a limb for a while, it was just
No,
go to.
it was still Log Me In.
No, before Citrix sold them, I think it was, you know, because Citrix bought go to for a while and then they sold them. So, Mike, maybe I'm going back too far for you.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, George and I are younger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, it's a good thing you're not on screen, Keith.
Wow. Hey, it's
I mean, I gotta say, with that beard mustache that you got, all that distinguished gray and white, I may even feel a little bit younger than you at that point.
wow.
But I do-
Throwing stones here.
I think you shaved that off, and I might have a couple more wrinkles.
Yeah.
So Keith, you better watch out, buddy. 30,000, not Keith. Yeah, Keith from the Cowboys fan, not Keith, the other Keith that just joined. Fly your drone at the Super Bowl and get a $30,000 fine. So
Wow.
you can't pilot a drone within 34.5 miles of the stadium. You happen to live within that circle there?
No, I'm probably a little further away. I have a drone I won from Cisco for some event, and it says it's perfectly legal. And then, in fact, Kevin McDonald, the Vaca guy, told me, he goes, "No, the California laws are different."
Of course they are.
So I don't know if my drone's even legal.
Don't
Yeah,
use it at the Super Bowl or near the Super Bowl. It sounds like you might have a problem.
Yeah. Well, there's no American teams playing anyway, so what do I care?
Uh-huh. Right. And it's a WWE, it's scripted, we know all about it.
Yeah.
Pete, how was Phoenix, buddy? You're out there for Evolve/HTG. It's never gonna, by the way, I'm never gonna not call it HTG.
It's always going to be HTG forever. So
Yeah.
the mood is pretty good. You know, I got to hang out. I didn't come to community day yesterday. They got on buses, went to the Diamondback Stadium,
That's
and they
cool.
had a pitcher, and you could get up at the bat and hit the ball. And
How
of
many
course,
people actually hit the ball?
I heard a lot of people. They were doing lobs.
Okay.
They were doing lobs. They weren't doing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs and curves or whatever. They were just pitching and lobbing them in there, and people were hitting. I wasn't there. I've only heard some stories. So people had a lot of fun. I heard there might have been some alcohol involved and people were running around doing some backflips and rolls in the infield and thinking that they were sliding to catch the ball and, all of the fun things. But sounds like everybody had a great time. And but the mood is pretty good. Still mixed attendee. There's still a lot of rooms that are in that hybrid mode, and the facilitators are doing everything to keep everybody engaged. But if you got 4 people on screen and you got 8 people in the room, it's hard to see all the interactions that are going on at once. Than when you're sitting around the table.
I can imagine that it's a disconnected. It's probably a pretty disconnected situation.
So, and I'll probably get a better firsthand. I got a couple SME sessions myself this afternoon. So, ask me that question Tuesday, and I might have a better definitive answer on that. But the mood is generally good. People are upbeat. Everybody's happy to be out. I think a lot of them. This is other than a lot of them didn't go to the IT Nation evolves back around IT Nation. So. This one seems to be.
So they didn't go into IT Nation period for November.
Yeah, some of them stayed hybrid, but more of those people showed up this go round.
Cool.
So there's attendance is pretty good. A lot of partners here. So the usual faces that we always see, so it's positive. But they have an outlook that they want to really grow. Quite a bit this year, and I'm not so sure that growth is going to happen. I don't think that, with all the peer groups that are out there right now, it's just getting harder to make that choice. What's the right model now? Which is the right one?
Don't they already have enough challenges with finding venues with enough meeting rooms? Like, how do you add more meeting rooms in a single venue?
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody talk about that or worry about that, but I think they want to get to like, they've always hovered around 350, 360 in the US groups, US and Canada. And I heard a rumor they want to get to like 450, 475. Okay. And I mean, there's certainly enough providers out there, but I don't know, if they've got the same attraction level now, because I think there's so many other so many other IT specific peer groups that are out there, and there's a couple more that are starting up. We know that PAX 8's Academy has got some peer groups starting up and others. So I think it's I think they're going to see some more attrition before they see growth.
Interesting. Are you at the? It sounds like you're at the airport.
No, I'm actually in my car because I could not get my headset to stay connected. There's so much Bluetooth interference in the hotel that my headset kept going on and off and on and off. So
interesting.
If I wanted to get in and be quiet and get a good, I would sit in my car. But
rumor has it that you had some security issues on the way into Phoenix.
I share your pain.
It wasn't my security issues. It was your security issues.
So yeah, I in Myrtle Beach of all places, but I have the insulin pump with my diabetes, and I go through, and it's always going to set it off. But I also have pre-T and clear and all of them, and so the pump sets something off, which it always does. And so I get on the other side, and the kid says, okay, take off your belt, your shoes, everything out of your pockets. And I'm like, why? I said, it's the pump that set it off. He goes, I don't care. Do it because I said so. I was like, all right.
Wow.
And there must have been a supervisor or whatever standing off to the side to observe him. And of course, I complied. I wasn't going to make a stink, but he could tell I was visibly annoyed. And at the end, I said, I got to ask you, why did I have to do all that when I handed you the pre-TSA? He said, you set the alarm off, and that's our protocol. So as I was getting to the gate, everything went fine. I got reclothed and belted and shoes and all the things you do. A supervisor came up and apologized to me and said that he was a trainee and that he shouldn't have done that and that he was sorry for the experience, but he didn't want to embarrass him in front of his peers or anything. So he pulled him off sideways and said, if somebody has that, you're supposed to check the pump, but not make them, go through all the motions. And he apologized very much, and he appreciated that I just showed visibly my annoyance and didn't make a stink. And I said, well,
Wow.
I really appreciated that he took the time to
That may
come to the
be
gate and follow me.
that may be the first and last time anybody ever gets an apology from TSA.
Well, I think he looked at my record too, and it probably says, I know when you look at my pre-TSA, it shows, retired military veteran. It shows, the pre-TSA and all the other things. So, and there's a couple other things that are stamped in my record that, would let them to believe that, we don't want this guy to complain.
Yeah, I don't think my record says any of that, Pete.
Yeah. Well, if that's why I got the apology, all right. But I appreciated that the guy actually took the time to come down to the gate
No,
and do
fair.
that. It's not like we got a huge airport, it's a little bit bigger than Jackson Hole, Mississippi. So, I mean, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So,
I was gonna say Jackson Hole. It's like an episode of Silicon Valley, right?
it's cool. I love
where
when
they-
you step off the airplane and have to walk across the tarmac and go through the antlers, and it's nice. So,
yeah, I'm not rushing to go to Jackson Hole anytime soon, but apparently it's going to be a trip.
yeah.
I still want to see the last Blockbuster. I think I'm going to get like Darren in a bus and Keith in a bus, and Pete, you already be there. And we'll just keep on driving until we get to that place.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm
Be
not riding any
that'll
buses.
be a moment.
You're not going to ride any buses?
No buses, no. No.
Wow. What do you got up against the bus?
Funny.
Plenty. Okay.
You gonna ride shotgun with me, Darren?
Yeah, I'll ride with somebody I can trust.
Are you saying you can't trust me with all the Chick-fil-A I eat?
Your TSA record says probable detainee.
Well, just because that's the case doesn't mean that, by the way, I don't drive the bus. And I won't take the wheel on that one. That takes a special type of concentration to get that thing around. But
Yeah.
pickup trucks, different story. Right there, Pete.
Yeah, George, you got pickup trucks, master.
Pete should go deal with the D-Box. I mean, he's right there.
Well, apparently we finally got some traction on that. The box is moving.
On the move.
All right. Where is it moving to?
Apparently it's moving towards you.
Okay.
All right.
Do we know when?
I have not gotten that information, but I'm gonna ask. I'm surely gonna ask, but the box does exist. Somebody thought that it melted in the desert, never to be seen again.
Okay.
Okay.
Did they say what the drop-off point is in my location?
I wasn't the one that made the call, so I don't have the answer for that.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I know
how
who to
about
call. I know
Do
who
you-
to call.
that? Do you? Do you know who to call?
Michelle?
Maybe. Before I even had a chance for you to go look at this thing, she picked up the phone. Like, it's a little bit, she was aggressively trying to get the buy.
See,
I was going to have you stop by and make sure that it still was there.
all right. I would have done that.
Yes, that was the play, I think. I think we messed that up, but that's fine. I'll get you some information once I have it. Plus, now Keith Nelson has plenty of time. He knows the date well and ahead of time. He'll make sure that he's there.
That's exactly true.
Yeah,
Can he come early enough though that we can enjoy a cigar together before we're like
that's the plan.
rushing onto the bus?
He may even have an improved vehicle by that point.
Those were good cigars. Did I give you one? Those
I
were.
didn't. I didn't
Oh.
get one from you.
Oh, you should have. I had plenty.
Of course, guys, your whole trunk's probably cigar.
Yeah, those were someone that was there actually messaged me later and goes, "That's one of the better cigars I had." And I guess you guys didn't let him smoke it on the bus.
Yeah, no, you're
He
not
said,
allowed to smoke.
Oh, no, you can't smoke it on the bus. That would be horrible.
No, negative. No
"That's like
smoking.
that smells good, and it's good for
Outside
you."
it, outside it does. Yeah,
Yeah,
but there's people that aren't fans. So, we got to respect that.
yeah,
And it's not our bus, so we don't want to make it smelly for others.
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Well, I got a couple for you on the way out the door, Keith, because this fits perfectly. There you go. WWE fire Shane McMahon.
Oh, that's like Georgia front and rearies killing her husband and firing his son. That's wrong.
You're just waiting for Roger Goodell, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you just wait. That's the NFL version of Shane McMahon, right?
That's exactly.
So you're just waiting for that shoe to drop. Since the NFL scripted, right?
That's exactly right.
All right, let me take your prediction. I know we still got another week. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I'm not a logical bettor. I'll give you that right now. I'm picking Cincinnati just because I've liked Joe Burrows for years. I like young guys that are arrogant and confident, and that's what I'm picking. That's
Okay.
probably not the best bet logically, because I think if you look at it position by position, the Rams are a better team.
But something about that Joey B.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Pete?
I think the Rams probably have the edge, but Joe's got he's got a variable there that you can't dismiss. So
I know many people will not be happy with this, but there's a Nick Foles-esque aura around Joe Burrow.
Exactly. Yeah. I think, look, good for him. What's this, his second year in the NFL and he's going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Sometimes
That's
you just
amazing.
you have the magic, right?
Yeah.
Why couldn't the Giants have waited one more year to pick a quarterback? Wouldn't have mattered in their lifetime.
Well,
Instead, they got Danny Jones, right?
Well, apparently the Giants are in the middle of all sorts of junk now with this this lawsuit, right? About diversity hiring in the NFL.
Mm.
They're smack dab in the middle of that.
Everybody's going to be in the middle of that one when it's said and done.
Yeah, the whole system, the whole league.
Well, the response to it, I don't know. I understand the problem, and the problem exists, and I agree with that. The way they wanted to get around it with mandatory interviewing and so on was almost condescending, in my opinion. You kind of created the monster, and you didn't address the issue. Just my opinion.
Well, the argument is the interview real?
Yeah.
That's the issue.
And I don't think their solution made it real.
I think if you follow the history of these types of situations in the NFL, it's going to be settled out of court. I mean, they're never gonna let it go all the way to a decision, right? I mean, who was the last guy? Kaepernick. They're never.
You realize what'll happen next, though, George?
What's that?
Is our great legislatures will get in there and they'll decide that they need a Senate hearing, just like they did the baseball with doping.
They can have as many hearings as they want. It's collectively bargained.
I know, but they put their nose where it doesn't belong. So they'll get it into a political motion and then try and take some kind of side to see who can empower their reelection.
Well, if Roger Goodell is going to be called in front of Congress, I know somebody who'll be there with his popcorn ready, and he's on this call.
That's right. I'll be ratting him off.
He'll be. Remember Terrell Owens? I'll be there with my popcorn. Yeah, I got you, Tia.
Have I sent you the picture of my Special Olympic team when we beat Terrell Owens in the Nike 3-on-3?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. You got some interesting stories.
I'll send it to you. What a total asshole that guy is.
Well, he was Terrell Owens.
He walks up and says, "Hey," because we beat him in the open division, and the Nike 3-on-3 is pretty prestigious. And he goes, "Why are you guys wearing Special Olympic shirts? Is that some charity you play for or something?" And I said, "No, they're all Special Olympians." And he goes, "What are they doing playing in this division? They have their own division." And I said, "Well, we won the Special Olympic division 8 years in a row. So we've moved up to the Open, which we won 6 years in a row." And I said, "We beat your team, didn't we?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he walks away. I go, "No, for being an ass, take a picture with the team." And he did. And I'll send it to you. You'll see all my guys wearing a medal and him pouting.
But
'Cause
hey,
he lost.
dude still wants to come back into the NFL. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
All
gonna
right,
buy into a NASCAR race team next.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be interesting. I've never been to a NASCAR race, for whatever it's worth. All right, everyone. What an interesting session today. Everyone is very different. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 o'clock Eastern time. This will be posted online in a short little bit. Don't forget all of the announcements I made earlier in the call, mspinitiative.com, sessions, giveaway, channel strong, and the MSP block party. That'll be happening down in Orlando around the Zero Trust World Conference, which we hope we see you at. Otherwise, see you guys on Tuesday, or we'll see you online. Take it easy, guys.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right.